Today's video, I'll be going over crypto versus equity futures, which one I like the most, and what are the pros and cons of using each. So let's get right into it. The first thing that you should understand is what both these are. Crypto means trading digital assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, you name it. Most people trade spot or perpetual futures on exchanges like Binance, Bybit, or Coinbase. The key features for this are 24/7, 365 days trading, no weekends, no holidays, insane volatility. Bitcoin regularly moves 5 to 10% in a single day. Now it's more about like 2 to 3%. High leverage up to 100x or more on some platforms, and is driven by sentiment, news, adoption, regulations, and macro flows. The second thing is equity futures. Equity futures are standardized contracts to buy or sell stock indices or even single stocks at a future date. The biggest ones include ES, which is E-mini S&P 500, NQ, which is E-mini NASDAQ 100, and YM, which is E-mini Dow. And all of these are traded on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, or CME, and are regulated U.S. exchanges. The key features are that they are nearly 23-hour trading with a short daily maintenance break. They have built-in leverage, as one ES contract controls $250,000 of the index with only $12K in margin right now, and daily mark-to-market settlement, no overnight gap risks like spot stocks. It is a pure play on economic data, earnings, Fed policy, and corporate America. So let's take a look at each of these. The first one that I want to talk about is Bitcoin, or crypto futures. So one of the most popular platforms to use is called Hyperliquid, and using this you can trade however much leverage you want. As you can see, you can do 20x leverage, all the way up to 25, 3, 1, however much you want. And like I said before, many other platforms will even offer even higher leverage for many different platforms. And even now on Hyperliquid, you can trade other assets like the S&P 500 or gold. And the next one that I want to talk about is equity futures. You can trade these on all the popular brokers, E-Trade, Schwab, Fidelity, Robinhood is the one that I use. And yeah, you can also trade futures on prop firms like Top Step. You can trade micro NASDAQ, of course. And then you can also trade ones like micro Bitcoin. And yeah, so that's all the things that you need to know. Crypto does have things like meme coins, but this isn't really trading, more just gambling on where price will go. And yeah, those are the two types of futures. So let's talk about the one. The first thing that I want to bring up is volatility and risk. Crypto has annualized volatility often of 60 to 80%. You can make or lose 50% in a week if using leverage. Equity futures, 15 to 20 to 25% annualized. Moves are smoother and more predictable. Winner for adrenaline junkies is definitely crypto, but winner for sleep at night traders is futures. Trading hours and accessibility. Crypto wins, obviously. Is 24/7, doesn't skip on holidays. Futures are almost 24 hours, but still have that daily reset. And for entry barriers, crypto, you can open an account in 5 minutes with $100. But futures, you need a futures approved broker, minimum 5K to 10K to start comfortably, and some paperwork and filling out forms. So crypto gets that one. Leverage and margin, both are leveraged, but futures have regulated margin, and crypto perpetuals can go 50 to 125x, but with liquidation risk that will destroy you in seconds during the wick. Futures also have a portfolio margin for pros, even better capital efficiency. So honestly, I think crypto has higher, more excessive leverage, but this can be both a bad and a good thing, depending on how you treat it. Now let's talk about liquidity and slippage. Futures absolutely crush this one. ES trades over 2 million contracts daily, and you can move size with almost zero slippage. But crypto, top coins are liquid, but alts or low volume hours equals massive spreads and wicks that just liquidate you. Now let's get on to regulation and safety. Futures on US are way more easy to trade. They're CFTC regulated, clearinghouse guarantees every trade your money is safe. While crypto is still evolving, FTX collapse, Binance fines, and exchange hacks are fresh memories. And self custody helps, but it's all on you. And depending on the broker that you use, it can be unsafe. Now let's talk about the costs. Crypto spot equals low fees, but perpetual funding rates can eat you alive in ranging markets. Futures are extremely cheap round turn commissions and have no funding rates. Now let's talk about taxes. This is a one that many people want to know about. Crypto, this is in the U.S. of course. For crypto, every trade is a taxable event. Short-term gains equals ordinary income, but futures are a 60-40 rule. 60% long-term capital gains rate, even if you day trade, and huge advantage for active traders. And the last thing that I want to talk about is correlation and edge. Crypto moves with risk-on sentiment and often follows NASDAQ, but with 3 to 5 times the beta. Equity futures are the actual NASDAQ S&P. They give you direct exposure to earnings, GDP, interest rates, and it's easier to build a real edge on there with fundamentals and technicals rather than just news events. So let's talk about the two things. Crypto wins if you love high risk, high reward. You want to trade anytime, any day. You believe in the blockchain long term, and you have iron hands and can handle large drawdowns. Equity futures win if you want structure, regulation, and safety. You day trade or swing trade with real leverage. You prefer technical, fundamental analysis over hype. You want tax advantages and consistent edge. So now let's talk about which ones I choose. Me personally, I tend to dip my feet in both. I think that if you're just trading things like micro Bitcoin futures, which are pretty liquid and do have a lot of don't have a lot of slippage, it is good. If you trade on Top Step, you get less slippage fees than if you're trading on an actual broker. But I think that MNQ or equity futures will always have the best spot in my heart. I mean, they're just so liquid. They move very more smoothly than crypto, I will say, and just overall are better to trade in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like trading crypto more? Do you like trading equity futures more? Let me know. But yeah, my personal opinion, equity futures are the best, but let me know what you think. Thanks, guys.